I've probably measured more of the world's tallest people than anyone else on the planet, but I've never yet met anyone who comes close to the phenomenal height of the Alton giant Robert Wadlow. His stature was so unprecedented and so far beyond anyone else ever measured scientifically that I doubt we'll ever see his likes again. So, how did he reach the heady heights of 8 foot 11 inches, a whole 8 inches taller than Sultan? Robert was born in Alton, Illinois in 1918, and his astronomic growth began from the very start. By the age of just 6 years old, he was already 5 foot 7. I mean, that's my height at 6 years old. By the end of the following year, he was taller than his father, and he crossed the 8 foot mark at the age of 16. It was shortly after his 21st birthday, at the height of 8 foot 9 inches, that he was recognised without any doubt to be the tallest human to be ever scientifically measured. Robert's doctors diagnosed the pituitary gland as hypertrophic, which just means it was big, just much bigger than expected.
The pituitary gland sets off the process of puberty by increasing the secretion of that hormone which controls the rate of growth of the body.
But they advised the family to avoid any attempts at removing it surgically. The risk of death, they said, was simply too high. So Robert soldiered on and made the most of his unique condition, initially at least enjoying or coping with the adulation. He travelled thousands of miles each year, making personal appearances. He became a nationwide superstar, in fact. But he also came to the attention of doctors, a number of whom jostled to be the one to document this unrivaled medical mystery. Wadlow's family were reluctant to take part in too probing an investigation. Robert just wanted to get on with his life. But finally, they gave in to pressure put on them by Dr. Charles Humbird. As they feared, though, Dr. Humbird was a little too intrusive for their liking, and his paper, published in the prestigious Journal of the American Medical Association, seemed more like an attack on the poor Wadlow. The family felt that much of what was written was inappropriate and just wrong, particularly in reference to Robert's mental state and personality. The family even went as far as trying to sue Dr. Humbird for libel, but they ultimately failed in their lawsuit. In 1940, Robert became seriously ill. He would embark on long promotional tours for the Peters Shoe Company, and it was during one of these trips to Manistee in Michigan that Robert first noticed something wrong with his leg. For a while now, he'd been wearing a metal brace to support his ankle and leg whilst walking, but his lack of feeling in his extremities meant that Robert didn't notice the brace rubbing against his skin. It quickly became infected, and Robert was confined to a hotel, unwilling or unable to go to hospital. There, he was spread out on 2 beds pushed together, and a makeshift hospital was set up around him. Despite transfusions, Robert finally succumbed to the infection, and on the 15th of July 1940, at the age of just 22 years old, Robert died. It's tragic to think that a minor inconvenience like an infected ankle, something that can be treated quickly and easily today with just antibiotics, was 80 years ago a death sentence. But ultimately, this is precisely the reason why I think we'll never see the likes of Robert Wadlow again. Developments in medicine and surgery are now sufficiently advanced to nip these kinds of problems in the bud long before they become life-threatening. We can slow or halt excessive growth and deal with the complications of a giant life long before anyone reaches anywhere close to Wadlow's perilous 8'11" stature. Even the side effects of extremely rare chromosomal disorders, such as the one that plagued the record-breaking teenager Brendan Adams, can be mitigated once doctors know what they're dealing with. We're all becoming ever more connected globally, and the world continues to shrink every day, so the chances of a child, even in the most remote part of the planet, growing up with a pituitary issue that's more extreme than Robert Wadlow's, and yet not treated by doctors, is rare. In fact, so rare that I don't believe it can ever happen again. I'm genuinely relieved that no one will have to endure the challenges and the pains faced by Robert Wadlow, the gentleman giant who took it all in his very, very long stride.